Welcome to the NBA trade deadline show. This is one of my favorite shows of the year. Hopefully, I'm having a little bit of bandwidth problems here, but hopefully it'll work out. Seth is on his way. Work sometimes does get in the way. I'd like to tell you that it's been a really that our draft that will take place. I'd like to tell you all that. No, I wouldn't. I love this day. I love these couple of days. We have trades and more trades and more trades. But let me be clear before we start in that today the date is Wednesday, June 25th, 2025, and the Mets first place. So what? Another days for this proverbial bet. I think it's $20. We bet on somebody, Will Howard in the NFL draft, and now we're dealing where we for the NBA and Major League Baseball. So anyway. So that being said, we are here. Lots and lots of trades have gone on. We talked a little bit about the Desmond Bane trade that happened last week, and that's going to impact the draft with the number 16 pick in the draft that went to Memphis from Orlando. Orlando getting a plethora of first-round picks for Desmond Bane, but more importantly, they're getting off the $40 million. And a lot of the trades that are being made over the last couple of weeks, you will see are designed, as we spoke about in the last couple of years, with regards to the second apron. And what does that second apron mean? And I know we've gone through this a bunch of times. And the second apron, it's important to tell you what happens if you're in the second apron. And what happens to teams when they fall into the second apron, what are those penalties, so to speak? And the second apron, so the second apron is when you are above $207 million in salary. If you're over $277 million in salary, which is $17.5 million over the luxury tax, then you wind up going into the second apron. So what are the penalties? And the penalties are pretty fierce here, and that's why teams want to stay out of the second apron. You can't use the MLE. You can't use the mid-level exemption. So normally if you're over the taxpayer number, which is $17.5 million, so about $188, you're able to use the taxpayer exemption to get over the cap. So anything more than that allows you to jump into that. And the mid-level exemption is about $12 million. So when teams are looking for ways to improve their team and they're over the luxury tax, you don't need a spot. That $12 million takes out. You can't combine multiple players in deals. This is one of the bigger ones. So if you're over that second apron, and this is the reason, ladies and gentlemen, why the Kevin Durant trade cannot take place until July 6th. Is on July 6th, Phoenix will be under the second apron because they will not have re-signed other players, so they fall under the second apron. But if they were over the second apron, which they are today, they cannot combine multiple players, such as Kevin Durant or whatnot, to match a higher salary player in the deal. And part of that is also that the Rockets may or may not, and I believe they still are, at least for the time being, are over that second apron as well, so they cannot combine Jalen Green and Dylan Brooks. But they will be under that on July 6th before this trade takes place. You are allowed to trade up to 7 years of first-round picks. So you can't trade them in multiple years. So you can't trade them in back-to-back years. It's a step-in rule. So you can't do that. However, you are able to trade 7 picks worth. So you can trade 2025 and then 2027 and 2029, 2031, 2035. You can do that if you're not a second apron team. You can also trade swap rights in those intermediary years. And you see that trades are taking place, swaps and swap of swaps and swap of swaps, right? 1 to 8, 8 to 30, maybe a little bit in the middle, take a piece here, take a piece there. All those things can be traded if you're not in the second apron. The second thing is, so the Knicks, who are a second apron team right now, but they are only second apron team for 1 year. So if you exceed that second apron for 3 out of the 5 seasons, and right now, the Boston Celtics are no longer a second apron team, but as of yesterday they would have been entering into the 3rd season of 5 being in that apron. And what that would mean is that you could not, teams above the second apron will have those future first round picks frozen 7 years out. So it's 7th year, so 2032 would be frozen. You couldn't trade it at all. Not only that, but that pick also, if it's 3 out of 5 years, moves to the bottom of the first round. So if you've tanked in that year and you've thoroughly sucked, you are now the 32nd pick, 30th pick. Forget how many teams there are in the NBA. I think there are 30. I'll get that in a second. But you are tanking for no reason, because not only can you not trade that pick, and there are 30 teams. Not only can you not trade that pick, but if you tank, it doesn't matter. It's still going to the bottom. So that's number 4. You can't have a sign-and trade. So you can't acquire a player such as a Fred VanVleet who opts out and then wants to make a trade. You can't do that. You can't acquire a sign-and trade player. You cannot add cash. You can't subsidize. A couple of years ago, you were able, the limits I think went up to $5 million. You can add $5 million per year, not per trade, per year, to any trade, which allows you to basically, you could trade a player that's making the minimum and give the team $2 million, so you're basically paying them to take the player, right? You cannot trade for a player that was waived and has a salary above the MLE. So this is the buyout clauses, right? And Seth just texted me and said he's still on the call. So you can't, if you're over the MLE, if you're over that 12 to $14 million after the buyout, if you're over that, and say you're the Celtics and you're in the second apron, you can't sign a player like that. So you're out of luck. You're SOL if you're trying to be in the buyout market. And last but not least, there is no trade flexibility. So if I give you $5, you have to give me exactly $5 back in any trade. Normally you can go up to 125%, which means $5 will get you $6. You can take back 6 for 5. 5 to 5. And not $1, not 1 penny. Nowhere over that. It's 5 to 5. So this is where the Jimmy Butler trades were kind of interesting. This is where the Bradley Beal trades come in, because right now the Suns are over that second apron. And when you trade out I'm trying to see if you trade out Kevin Durant on July 6th. The question is, at this point, are you still a second apron team? The Suns. Now remember, you have a couple of major salaries on those books. You have Devin Booker earning about 50. You have Bradley very close, $50 million. So looking at their SPO track right now, their allocations for next year, they are actually under the second apron. Is that with the trip? No? Hold on. Wondering why. Oh, going into next year, their first they have total allocation of $219 million. So they are over the second apron by $11 million next year, as of right now. Now, when they trade Kevin Durant, remember, they can't take more in. They can take less. So when they trade Kevin Durant, they're taking in 54, and they're trading out 54. Beal earning 53, Devin Booker earning 53, and then Grayson Allen earning 16. And the thing about Kevin Durant was traded by the Suns in order to get under second apron. Kevin Durant was traded by the Suns in order to give trade because they're now trading Devin Booker. The Phoenix Suns now have 5 shooting guards. Maybe 5 wing players if you want to call them a wing player. Grayson Allen, Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, Kevin Durant, and Dillon Brooks. And it's really nice when you have 5 quality players, but last time I checked, and I'm sure Seth can back me up on this, there is only one ball. There's only one ball. So you can't really play, I mean, you could. Excuse me. You could be positionless basketball, and you could conceivably play 5 shooting guards. But really, are you going to do that? Okay, so now let's look at another team that did something. So right now, Phoenix is projected to be $11 million. Cleveland is projected to be $2.6 million over the second apron. And Boston, before yesterday, was projected to be $17.7 million. And my buddy Mark Rubin, who you continually hear on this show, who I text with almost every single day, has declared that Brad Stevens is a magician. And for years, I have been saying, I don't understand what teams are doing in helping out the Celtics. I still don't get it. But they did. Again. So the Celtics, before yesterday, were $17.7 million above the second apron. Not the luxury tax, the second apron. Which means, ladies and gentlemen, that they're above the second apron at 17.7, which means they're over the tax by $35 million. They're over the tax by 35. Now they're in the repeater tax. So every year that you're in the tax, it multiplies. So the repeat, I think they were like 8 times. So if you're in the repeater tax, I think they were at like every dollar cost $4 to $6. That's how much it is. So if you have been a luxury paying tax team 3 out of the previous 4 years, that is when you become a repeater tax. And this is what happens. Remember, they are $35 million over. If you are $20+ million over, you are paying the regular tax, which is $3.25 per dollar. So for every dollar spent, you're paying $3.25. Then you got an additional. If you're $20 million over, you pay 50 cents per $5 million. In the repeater tax, you're paying $4.25. So 4 times. So for every, let's use Sam Hauser. For every Sam Hauser who makes $10 million, you're really paying them $40 million. Think about that. So here the Celtics are in a problem. They have a major tax issue. Seth's joining. They have a major tax issue. They have a major second apron issue. And here comes the Portland Trailblazers to go, me. I want to help you, Boston Celtics. I want to get you out of this jam that you are in. Me. Then the Hawks. Now, the Hawks, I believe the Hawks did well by themselves. I think that the Nets did well by themselves. But both of those teams are going, me. Let me help you, Boston Celtics, out of this $500 million jam that you have put yourself in, and I'm going to get scraps. And if you're Portland, you're not even just volunteering, you're volunteering and saying, I'm going to give you something on top of it.
Is it me, or does it feel like Kevin Costner versus... Does it feel like Kevin Costner versus the Jacksonville GM draft? 3 second rounds.
Something Carlson. Oh, I can't remember the guy's name. But anyways, Carlson. Jeff Carlson. His name is Jeff. Jeff Carlson. 3 second round picks. That's right. For a first round pick. For not only a first round pick, but a top 5 first round pick. Oh, no. It was 7. So top 10 first round pick. Seth, we only have 44 minutes, so we have to get on to the draft. But we'll talk more next week. I went through everything that a repeater tax was just now and everything that a second apron was. But Mark Rubin has for years told me that Brad Stevens is a magician. I believe that Brad Stevens has more on the NBA owners than Daniel Snyder did. Because there's no way that this happens in a vacuum. None. If the Knicks were in this problem, nobody would bail out James Dolan. No chance. None. The Knicks are in that problem and they're not helping him bail out James. Please give me Jason Kidd. Give me a coach. Some coach. All right. Anyway. So I was saying, tonight is one of my favorite nights of the year. Because especially this year, because we know, generally in the NFL, we know 1 through 7. Give or take. Yep. Right? And we know pretty much the order of 1 through 7. There may be a jump here, there may be a flip here, but we generally know. Okay. In the NBA, we generally know 1 through 8, 1 through 9, 1 through 10. Yeah, once you get to 3, I don't have a clue. Again. Nope. This is like every year we keep getting more and more. And every year I keep taking a stab in the dark and going, yes, that's the guy that I want. But before we go, let me be clear that the Brooklyn Nets have 5, count them 5, first round picks in tonight's. How many picks do they make? I'm sorry. First of all, they're only making 4 because the Hawks are picking for them at 22. How many picks of these 5 will be signed to Brooklyn Nets contracts to play for the 2025-2026 season?
2 or 3.
Okay, where do the other 2 or 3 go?
One gets stashed.
So one's a European player, okay?
I think they will trade 1 plus Cam to try and move up somewhere.
I do as well.
Although I do not believe in Cam and number 8 for Paul George and number 3.
No, I do not believe Philly's trading out of that spot. I do not believe Philly is trading out of that spot at all. Okay, so you think 3 are on the team? Well, 2 are on the team. 1 is a stash. 1 is a trade, and maybe 2 are a trade.
One's in G League.
Well, G League counts as Brooklyn.
Fine, then we'll put it this way.
Okay. I agree with that wholeheartedly. I think you're going to see 3 plus 1 plus 1. Which one is
1?
3 plus 1 plus 1? Which one is traded?
What movie?
Wait, which one is traded?
No, what movie? One plus one plus one plus one plus one?
Princess Bride?
Hey, Clue.
Oh, you're right. Well done.
I never beat you on the movie reference.
You don't. Okay. Dude, we got to keep going. All right. Which one's traded? So they have 8. They have 8.
I'll say 22.
8, 22, 26, 29. Wait, there's a fifth one. Where's the fifth one?
8, 19, 22, 26, 27.
Oh, that's right. They have 19. All right, and you think 22 is traded? Now, if 22 is traded, so 22 is traded. So the best thing about all these deals is that the majority of them will not be made have not been made. They've been agreed to, which means we had said this. I had said this before. The Kevin Durant trade cannot take place till July 6th for tax reasons and for apron reasons. But that just gives everybody like 10 more days to make this like 12 teams, right? Which could include a draft pick tonight. And that 22, which is going to Brooklyn from Atlanta. By the way, which trade does this originate from? I think I could pick out every trade that these originate from. So this started with the Lakers.
Dude, I don't know.
Well, the pick started with the Lakers. Which trade how does this get to the Nets?
Oh, which pick are we talking about?
The 22.
Oh, okay. The 22 just came over from. Is it from Boston?
Nope.
Atlanta.
Yep.
Okay, so Atlanta.
But Atlanta didn't start with it. It started with the Lakers.
Is it part of the DeJounte Murray trade with New Orleans?
Eventually.
I mean, I can't imagine we go back to Anthony Davis.
You do. This is Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis for Dyson so that goes from the Lakers to New Orleans. New Orleans trades it with Dyson Daniels to the Hawks. The Hawks then trade it to the Nets. That's how this trade.
How good a pull is that?
I gave you all 4 teams. It's not that hard to pull. New Orleans.
I was the one that I just said.
I gave you the Lakers in New Orleans. How many other trades would there be? Anyway, this is the last.
Before COVID.
This is the last pick of that trade, by the way. That's how long some of these trades go for. That's the point of giving out 5 picks, right? Mikal Bridges is not going to be settled until 2031. Like, just think about that. Anyway, all right. I agree.
That'll be the year you're up for Morgan's bat mitzvah.
That's right. Okay. So let's roll through this since we have now just over a half hour. Okay. I think we're both agreeing that Cooper Flagg is going number 1. Yes?
Yes.
Okay. For those that are unaware, the rules again: 5 points for you're picking who's going to get picked in the slot, not who's going to get picked by the team. That allows for trades. 5 points if you get it spot on. 4, 3, 2, 1 on either direction. Generally, Seth and I wind up in the 70s out of 150. So just to give you some idea. Okay. The Spurs, I will take second. The Spurs will take Dylan Harper. There is no way they are trading this pick. None. 0. Sorry. It's not 0. If Giannis is available tonight, he is the only one that they will trade this pick for. That is it. Other than Giannis,
Agreed.
This is completely off the table. Who are the 76ers picking?
If you were the 76ers and a guy refused to try out for you at number 3, would you want him?
Nope.
Nope, me either. So I don't think there's any really great fit for them, to be honest. I don't think they're going to go Knuble. I think they go probably the best player out there, which is DJ Edgecombe from Baylor.
That's what I got. And I agree. The thing is, for them, there is no perfect fit, right? Knubel is actually a pretty good fit, but the upside for Knubel is not that of Edgecombe.
Correct.
Look, Ace Bailey has the best upside of anybody.
Right.
And Ace and Newell, right? But A, you've been slapped in the face. B, he's going to be a problem if he. We don't know that. I see this being a problem if he gets there. And number 3, you have Joel Embiid and Paul George. Ace Bailey is not winning you this now. You're playing for today. Now, granted, you do have
you have
the rookie,
which is why Knubel would be the best fit.
I agree.
I just don't see him going 3.
I don't see the upside there. I do see Charlotte picking him though. I think Charlotte wanted Edgecombe, and we just gave it out. So I got Knubel going to Charlotte. Definitely for me, the best fit, him or Trey Johnson is the best fit here, because when you put LaMelo, right, and you put Brandon Miller, the thing you need is shooting, and this is your shooter. So stick him out there, let him be there. I don't think Ace Bailey is a bad fit here either, but again, Ace Bailey wants the ball in his hands. That's not going to happen with LaMelo Ball. He has purposely said, I do not want to be in Charlotte. I do not want to be in Philly, and I do not want to be in Utah. He does not want to be picked 3 through 5.
Yeah. Charlotte, I think, look, you have that's a better fit for Knubel. Because you have Brandon Miller.
I agree.
You have LaMelo Ball.
Yeah.
Do you need a 3 and D guy kind of works? I'll take Knubel.
All right. Who do you have at 5?
Well, who do you have at Knubel?
I had Knubel. That's what I picked 4 first.
Okay. So Utah kind of needs a little bit of everything, to be perfectly honest. I can see them going Bailey for the outside. And because anyone named Ainge is not really scared of what any 18-year-old says. But I'm gonna go with just pure scoring. I'm gonna go with Trey Johnson.
We have a trade. With the 5th pick in the draft, the Utah Jazz trade with the Brooklyn Nets for number 22 and number 8. And the Nets move up and take Ace Bailey at number 5, which would be right above Washington, where if the Nets don't take him, Washington's going to take him. So I think the Nets trade up and go get Ace Bailey because they don't need... It's either going to be 22 or 26. I don't think it matters to them. It's one extra pick for them. I think they use their ammunition and go get the guy that they want, and that's Ace Bailey. And Ace Bailey wants to be in Brooklyn, one of the few players. And then they still hold on to Cam Johnson if they want to make another deal.
Yep.
So I think they give up. And when we get to 8, I think they get the guy that they wanted at 5, so it doesn't really matter. So go ahead.
Okay, so I have Washington taking Ace Bailey at 6.
Oh, I think right. Okay. Well, who'd you have at 5?
I had Trey Johnson.
Oh, right. I'm sorry. You have Ace Bailey at 6, and I have Trey Johnson at 6. I think Washington does very well getting the best shooter in the draft in Trey Johnson. Okay. The Pelicans. The Pelicans need size. I hate when you trade for something in the first round instead of trading for the best player. But if you looked at what they had last year, they were pretty much starting Daniel Tice at center. That's a problem. They have room for people to grow. So I have them with the freshman out of Duke, Maluak.
I have him going. I have him going. So there's only one other player in this kind of tier, for lack of a better term.
Yep.
And I have Jeremiah Fears, the point guard for Oklahoma.
Okay. Jeremiah Fears, got it. To New Orleans. Okay, so they trade McCollum. They pick up Jordan Poole in another trade I can't for the life of me understand why they did. Not why Washington did. I totally get why the Wizards did it. I have no clue.
He's a good veteran leader, and he's on a one-year deal.
And so is Illinois. I mean, yeah, they have I think it's $116 million in cap room after this year.
The only guy signed is Murphy.
Yeah. So, all right, Brooklyn Nets. For me, it's the Utah Jazz. So, who you have the Nets picking?
Maluk.
And I, in a switch, as we just said, I think Utah wants Jeremiah Fears. They could have gotten him at 5. He falls to 8 anyway, and I think they pick him here. So, all in all, the first 8 picks are the same for both of us. Some in the same, some in different, but they're all the same, right? They're all the same picks. And now we're on to number 9. Number 9 I picked first. I believe, and understand, these are all freshmen so far. Every single one of them. We're going to tack on to another freshman with number 9. The Toronto Raptors take Carter Bryant. Out of Arizona, 19 years old, 6'7", 215.
Barely played.
Barely played. 3-and-D guy. They need shooting because they don't got any. Again, they got
You think they trade Barrett?
Do I think they trade who? Sorry?
RJ Barrett.
I think they could, especially if they get Carter Bryant. Doesn't...
That's the problem I have with you actually have a guy who wants to be in Toronto, in Barrett. There's so few people who want to be, who want to be there.
Well, he's Canadian, so it makes sense.
I
Yeah.
understand. Okay, so I have...
The problem I have is who are you getting for... I don't understand the improvement. The rumor is he's going to Chicago. And I'm wondering unless he's going for the 12th pick, I don't get it. Because Toronto doesn't have it, or Josh Giddey, who's not being traded. So the rumor is that he's going for Patrick Williams. All that does is save money. That's not a deal. That's not a basketball deal. Anyway. All right, number 9, Toronto. Who's going to the Great White North?
The one who came from a lot further than the Great White North. Point guard from Illinois.
Okay. Okay, so Houston, awesome here. From Phoenix to Brooklyn to Houston. And now back to Phoenix with the number 10 pick. This is Kevin Durant and then Kevin Durant.
Can I have the pleasure of this one?
Oh, you absolutely have the pleasure of this one. Who will the Houston Rockets take?
With the 10th pick of the NBA draft, the Phoenix Suns, who are going absolutely nowhere. And have no one up front. Go for the most skilled offensive player left on the front court player.
No.
University of Maryland.
No! Wow. Okay. I have Queen going in a couple of picks, but not there. I have Queen going to the land where no rookie succeeds. So,
there's so many.
Yeah, but there's really one. Okay. And I wouldn't want him in Phoenix anyway. I have Phoenix taking a developmental player because they can afford to take a developmental player. I have them taking the guy out of Germany, Noah Senge, 6'8", 194. I'm almost 185 pounds. He's 194. They need to take shots. They need to throw bullets. They need to throw darts and hope that something comes up. Derek Queen... You know I have an affection for Derek Queen. I did. But Derek Queen has a low ceiling. Yeah, a low.
I don't think.
Oh, I do. I think his measurables top him out. He can't be. He can't be. Is he going to be an All NBA player? Is there any chance of this guy being an All NBA player?
No.
Come on.
I don't.
Take off your rose-colored glasses.
I just said I don't think he's an All NBA
Okay. He's 6'9", 248. Okay? So unless he plays like Draymond Green on defense, which there are none, right? His max out is Domantas Sabonis. Now, that's not a bad max.
That's a 20 and 10 guy.
I said that's not a bad max. That's his max. That is the top what he could be. Top.
But I don't find that to be unreasonable.
Oh, I do. I don't think that's where he goes. I think he's more a Naz Reid than he is a Domantas Sabonis.
Okay, so if you have Naz Reid, you're 6, and you won the 6th Man of the Year award.
Right. My point is, when you're Phoenix, you're not looking for the B.
Okay.
You're shooting for a risk because in the next 5 years, you need to take a risk. Here's your risk.
I get it.
Okay. Speaking of risks, the Portland Trailblazers take yet another guard because we can't have enough guards. And they take out of Illinois Jakusionis. Because why not have another guard?
Well, because you have 62 guards.
They really don't, though. They just traded Simons. They got Holiday. If they move, if Scoot is playing the 2, Holiday is playing the 1, Shaden Sharp's playing the 3, Jeremy Grant's playing the 4, and Donovan Clingan. Yes, he's got 3 more years on $30 million. Anyway, all right, Portland. So the
a little bit bigger. I haven't gone part of guard.
Okay. Well, Bryant's already gone for me, so there you go. All right. And now, your Chicago Bulls, the place where draft picks go to die. Who do you got?
I have them taking a run at Colin Murray Bulls, flying up the draft.
For the love of God, tell me the last rookie that succeeded in Chicago. Keep thinking. Keep going.
Derrick Rose.
Yeah, that's 20 years ago.
I was going to say Elton Brand, so in comparison.
I guess my point is, you don't even have... I'm talking about just success. I'm not even talking about Rookie of the Year. Like, can you name one? Because I can't.
I mean, nothing. It's
Yeah, exactly. Where rookies go to die, ladies and gentlemen, your Chicago Bulls take out of Maryland Derek Queen. And if they trade Vucevic, he will start. And that's a good place for him. It is a very good place for him. With Giddey, that would be a good place for him. Okay, Atlanta. We go from Maryland to Maryland. This is part of the Kevin Huerter deal to end up. Atlanta gets from Sacramento. We just talked about him, Boyles. Again, another lanky guy, 6'7". He's got some meat, 239, 19 years old. He's a finisher. They just got Kristaps Porzingis. I think this is a good to play with Jalen Johnson. I like this pick.
Well, let me ask you something. How well
Please.
does Atlanta actually bring in fans? Do they have a fan base?
No, of course not. By the way, another reason why Knuble goes to Charlotte is the Duke connection.
That's why Ace is going to Georgia. He's going to Atlanta.
Oh, no way. That is too high, my friend. Too high. Too high. He also plays very much like Jalen Johnson.
By the way, I'm looking now at Chicago's picks. 2019, Daniel Gafford and Kobe White.
Okay, Kobe White's okay. Daniel Gafford was a pick to die because he went somewhere, had to go somewhere else.
Right, but he just signed a $3 million deal.
Right, but my point is he didn't succeed in Chicago.
No, you said they go die anyway. Everyone.
No, I said they leave. I said they die in Chicago. Look, Kobe White's a good pull. I forgot about Kobe.
The best player of the last 15 years.
It's Kobe
Jimmy
White.
Butler. Jimmy Butler did well in Chicago.
Okay. Yes. 15 years ago.
2011. 14 years ago.
Yeah.
Well, who's counting?
Rookies go to die. Okay, San Antonio in the original DeJounte Murray trade picks up the 14th pick from Atlanta after Atlanta just picked it up from Sacramento. By the way, there are no trades in the first 9 picks, and then there are only two picks throughout the rest of the league, the rest of the draft, that have not been traded at least once. Okay.
So I think San Antonio just goes with the best player available.
Okay.
Actually, I'm going to change my pick a little bit.
Okay.
Because didn't Wemby say he does not want to play center?
Wemby does. Sure. Let's say he did. No, that was Anthony Davis. I think you're mixing up with Wemby. But anyway.
Wemby just said he doesn't want to play center.
Okay.
You know what? I'll stick with what I got. I have a Sengun going here.
Okay. Noah Sengun. And I think you and I were thinking along the same path, as I don't believe Wemby wants to bang with some of those players. So I think he wants to move over to power forward every once in a while. And because of that, they take the center out of Georgetown, Thomas Sorber.
Yeah, that's where I was kind of.
Okay. Oklahoma City, from Miami through the Clippers. I have no idea how this gets traded. Like, in my brain I do, but I don't remember which trade this is. I thought I knew all of them. This one is kind of sneaking up on me. With this one, I'm taking Igor Demin, 6'8" guard out of BYU. Again, no need for him to play next year. He's 19. He'll play in like 3 years when they lose Cason Wallace or somebody like that, and they need somebody else. He's a 6th man, can jump off the bench. Sure, why not? So, edge Demin out of BYU.
Well, here's a team that needs absolutely
nothing.
So when you need nothing, you just kind of go for, okay, I want a big guy. Because big guys get hurt.
That's true.
And they have Hartenstein, they have Holmgren. Who is their starting 4? I'm actually blanking on him now.
Jay Williams.
I thought he was the 3.
Chet Holmgren.
Holmgren's the 5.
No, Hartenstein played the 5. Chet played. They started big man for the whole finals.
Okay. Well, I have him going big man again anyway. So I have him going Danny Gill from Michigan.
Oh, wait.
And a member of the tribe.
You know, I like the pick, and the reason why, and even though I think it's very, 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 very early, I like the pick because he's an older guy compared to some of these guys, and he's 20 years old. I mean, really, how old is he? He's an older guy, and he can come in and play, perhaps, as opposed to just sitting on the bench. I do like the pick. I'm looking up how Oklahoma City got this one, though, because it's kind of interesting to me. Okay, so nope, does not tell me why. It just tells me who. Okay, Memphis gets this in the Desmond Bane deal. I know where 16 came from. Who is Memphis taking with their 16th pick?
Memphis is kind of looking at a weird nowhere land, having traded Desmond Bain, which I don't, considering what they got for him, makes again. I don't know who they are at swing. You know, you have Jaron, you're going to re-sign Jalen Jackson for $8 zillion. You got Jaw. You have KCP. I'm gonna go for that 2-3 combo. A little bit of experience. I'm going Cedric Howard from Washington State.
Yep, that's who I got. 100%, and I think he's a built-in fill-in for Desmond Bain. Like, it's just swap out one, swap in another. Coward is a 3-and-D guy, high-level defender, a little older at 22. Same thing what Desmond Bain was when he came, right? Except Desmond Bain was picked 30th overall, and got a max contract at 30th. Not many players get that. Okay. The Minnesota Timberwolves from Detroit via New York, Oklahoma City, and Houston. Holy smokes. So I know where, I know this is the end came from Julius Randle. Like, I know that's the end. I have no idea on how they got it from Milwaukee. I'm not exactly sure where Milwaukee fits in. Oh, Milwaukee's Drew Holiday. Okay, and this is, yeah, okay. Wait, no, this is the pick after that. Sorry. This is Houston, Oklahoma City, New York, from Detroit. That was number 19. This is number 17. I have no idea where this is.
Am I missing somebody?
No, number 17. I am picking first. I get that. And hold on, I gotta get this guy's first name because I only put down his last name, which is really stupid of me. But give me a second. And I can't find it. Oh shoot! All right, I got Behringer here. I can't remember who the heck it is though.
The center from Spain.
Yes. Okay, so I got a center here going to Minnesota. Shockingly, one of the things that they need. Oh, here it is. I had it highlighted actually. Joan Behringer, 6'11" out of Spain, 18 years old. He's a lob threat, and he's exactly what this team needs if they're getting rid of either Julius Randle or Naz Reid.
Mike Conley, as much as I love him, isn't going to be there.
That's true.
And they do need some depth. Actually, I'm kind of changing my pick. I'll stick with whatever. Nobody cares. Well, I forgot DiVincenzo, how long he'll be there. How much longer does DiVincenzo have on his deal?
2 more years.
I'm going for the combo guard from BYU.
So you're going with Edgin here.
Going with what?
Edgin? The combo guard? Demon?
Yeah.
Demon. Okay. Now, you do remember that last year they took Rob Dillingham, right?
I did. I still think I like. How much longer can Conley go?
I'm just saying, I was just reminding you, with the 8th pick, they took Rob Dillingham.
Dillingham didn't do much. He didn't play much. So I don't know how much. I don't know.
Yep. Okay. The Washington Wizards from Memphis. So this is the Marcus Smart deal, if I'm correct. They, if nothing else, need more rangy, long players that are 12 years old and may or may not play. And because of that, they take Asa Newell. Because why not pick another rangy player? By the way, Atlanta picks in 4 picks. Would I be the least bit surprised if Atlanta traded up for this pick with one of their second rounders that they got? No, but I'm sticking with Asa Newell at 18.
Well, Washington, considering they have all they have is young. So you got time. I want an athlete. And the one guy I don't really know who they have, well, I guess they brought in McCall. So he'll be their starting 2. But he's got 1 year left on his deal. And I want a guy who's a freshman, who's got a major upside, major athlete, but knows the NBA because his dad was a hell of an NBA player. I think he'll kind of fit in there. I'm going Jason Richardson. It's Michigan State.
I have him a little bit further down. Okay, the Brooklyn Nets. Now this is the one that is Drew Holiday because it's Portland and New Orleans and Milwaukee. I have no idea on how it got to Detroit, but then it came to New York from, I guess, Portland, and then traded in the Mikal Bridges trade. So, this is the top, 8 protected. So, 19th pick overall to the Brooklyn Nets. So far, you have for the Brooklyn Nets, Maluak. And so this is number 2, and you said 3 plus 1 plus 1. So which one is this one? Stay, stash, or trade? Stay, stash, or trade?
You know what? You've mentioned a couple of players that have, you thought of too high. I think you're going to think this one is too high as well. I kind of want the leader in the winner. I don't know what the Nets have. But who is the best leader and the biggest winner in college basketball this season?
Walter Clayton Jr.
There you go. I bet you don't have him in the first.
Oh, I have him in the first. I just don't have him there. I absolutely have. I have him 4 or 5 picks later. I 100% have him in the first. And I think if he gets to, I think if he gets to 28, which I don't think he will, he is an automatic Boston Celtic. Automatic. I think that is the floor for Walter Clayton Jr.
I actually think Miami would win the next pick.
So the Brooklyn Nets, I think they definitely. This is one that I think they might trade. Is part of that Utah deal. I think it's either this one or 22, one of the two. Which means if this is going to Utah, it's kind of the same type of pick that I would make for the Nets. And that would be Liam McNeely. Really, really high upside with this guy. Really high. Shooting guard out of Utah. Because everybody out of Utah. Yeah, 19 years old, 6'7", 206. Can really space the floor and can go make his own shot. Yeah, so I'll take him here. Okay, Miami with the next pick, right? Miami needs players that can come in and play. They draft Jaime Jaquez. They draft Duncan Robinson. They draft generally older players that can play. They're not in the developmental stage.
That's why I thought Clayton would go there.
The one exception was actually Keto Ware last year, who was a developmental player, but they were able to develop him quickly. And because of that, I have them taking, I believe is the oldest guy that I will take in the first round. Out of Colorado State, Nick Clifford, who plays both ends of the court. And so that's from Golden State. That's the Andrew Wiggins, Jimmy Butler deal. This is fun. I'm enjoying trying to figure out where the trades go. I did not look these up. I have absolutely no idea. I am guessing on the trades. But this has got to be the Jimmy Butler trade. Okay. Nick Clifford. Nick Clifford.
Yeah, from Colorado State. Sorry, exactly. Sorry, we got a real problem with
All right, so who do you got?
I do have Miami going White Card. Because who is their point guard?
That's a good point.
So where I'm going with it is I'm going to France. And this guy was supposed to be a top 5 pick a year ago. He's kind of fallen down a little bit.
100%.
You know who I'm going with.
Yeah, Nolan Traore.
Nolan Traore.
Yep. Okay, pick your Utah pick. From Minnesota, this is Michael Conley. This is the Michael Conley trade. D'Angelo Russell.
So again, Utah just kind of feels like nowhere land.
Mm-hmm.
And I really don't even know what they're going to trade Markkinen at some point. So I'm kind of going with his replacement, kind of the 3-4 combo, Rasheer Fleming from St. Joe's.
It's funny you say that because I'm going with Larry Markkinen's replacement too. It's just Danny Wolf. I agree. I think they will trade Markkinen very shortly. He's not on the same timeline as much as he wants to be there. Okay, the Nets with the 22nd pick in the draft. You just said it. This guy should have been a top 5 pick going into this year. He's got as much upside as any player outside of the top 3 picks in this draft, maybe the top 2. Nolan Traore would be perfect for Brooklyn. This is a dart. This is a let's throw it and see if it hits. This is a perfect, when you have 5 first-round picks, this is the type of pick you make. And if you're going to stash him, you do have the opportunity to stash him for another year if you want. Nolan Traore goes here.
So you're going. So the first Nets pick. Our point guard.
No, remember, one of them is being traded.
That's right. You're trading up for Bailey. Okay.
One of them's being traded. I don't know which one, but one of them's being traded. And even if I don't, McNeely is 6'7" wing. He's not a point guard.
No. I thought you had.
Okay, well I have Liam McNeely. Wait, I have Ace Bailey. Oh, you show me with fears. That's the problem. Okay, got it.
Correct.
Got
I'm
it.
looking at the number. I forgot about the trade.
Right. Okay.
All right. So at some point, who gets traded from the Brooklyn Nets? There's only two. There's two people who are going to get traded.
Nick Claxton.
Well, Claxton we dealt with Luke. So either Cam Johnson, Cam Thomas could be traded. Either one.
Yep.
So I'm looking at the incredibly athletic replacement, Will Riley from Illinois.
Okay. And I have Riley going a little later. Okay. The New Orleans Pelicans via Indiana, which took place last week. Which, by the way, I think Indiana would love to have right now. Given the Tyrese Halliburton. And because of that, well, it's ironic that I have them picking Walter Clayton Jr. right here. Because I think this would be a great substitute for Tyrese Halliburton. And but I have New Orleans picking Walter Clayton Jr. And you did point out just now that I have, no matter who, unless Traore is stashed, I have either the Jazz or the Nets with 2 point guards. I do understand I just did that. But
we both know I do that all the time.
Okay.
All right. So New Orleans pick 2. I still I love how I stutter when I do this. There's nobody I really like for them at this point. I already have them taking their point guard in years. I have them going big man. I have them going Thomas Sorber.
Okay. Oklahoma City Thunder from the Clippers. This is the Paul George trade. Go ahead. We got 6 more picks.
All right. They obviously need nothing. So I'm just going to take a guy they can stash. Never go wrong with a wing. I'm going Noah Penda. Come on, son.
Who? Oh, Noah Penda. Okay. I am of the same ilk. They're going to stash somebody. Hugo Gonzalez, 19-year-old, 6'7", from Real Madrid. Well, he's got a nice life over there. He'll be spending another year there, too. Okay, moving on to the Magic from Denver. So this is part of, I believe, the KCP trade? I don't know where this comes. Anyway, it's Jace Richardson. Because I think that there are no two matches that go better together than Jace Richardson and the Orlando Magic. I think that is a match made in heaven for those two teams. So, back up Desmond Bain.
I am going for a team that couldn't shoot threes. Going to be an overabundance of team players who can shoot threes. Hello, Mr. McNeely.
Okay, I'm going to let you take the next 2 back-to-back Brooklyn picks. One from the Nets, Mikal Bridges. One from the Houston Rockets, and that would be the James Harden deal.
All right. So again, there's only so many players you can go with here. I'm taking 2 overseas players. One, Joan Berringer. And Hugo Gonzalez.
How many players, and I don't know the answer to this, and it would be interesting to know, and I'm going to do it right now. Hold on. Just give me 1 second. So what I'm looking up is how many players the Nets actually have on their roster right now. And the reason for next year. And the reason I'm doing that is how many guys can they actually put on their team, right? Can they put 4 guys on their team? Is that possible? So right now they have, you're gonna laugh, but they can. So if they don't sign D'Angelo Russell, which I don't believe they will, if they don't sign Zaire Williams, which I don't think they will, if they don't sign DeAnthony Melton, which I don't think they will, of their free agents, I think they probably try and re-sign Cam Thomas. Yeah, Cam Thomas. Day'Ron Sharp. And Dennis Smith Jr. Those are the 3. Let's presume that they do. They have club options on Keon Johnson. Did they pick that up?
No.
$2.5 million. Jalen Wilson, did they pick that up? No, he's 25. Tyrese Martin is 26. I don't think they're picking that one up either.
Nope.
And Drew Time, I don't think they're picking that one up either.
Drew Time is there?
Yeah. So let's presume they don't pick up any of those, okay? They are left with 5 rostered players, Seth. 5. Plus Cam Thomas and plus De'Aaron Sharp. 7. You can have 14 players on an NBA roster.
You had Terrence Mann?
I did not, so that's 8. Okay. 8 guys. They could draft 5. Seth, they could draft 5 guys.
Did you get the reference?
No, I didn't even hear the reference because your mic is cutting in and out.
That's the same problem I'm having. They said Moonlight Graham.
Oh yeah, that's Field of Dreams. No, they can't. No, they can't get Moonlight Graham. They could roster all 5 guys, Seth. So the point is, they don't need to stash any of these guys.
I get it, but you really want 5 18-year-olds?
No, but my point is they don't have to, right? They could sign 2 free agents and keep 4 of these guys and be perfectly fine. And I'm not saying they will, but they can. If their goal is to tank next year, they don't give a rat's ass what they do on the court. They don't. Okay. With that in mind, I have 2 Nets, and believe it or not, they are guys that would play next year. And they're guys that you have actually already drafted, which means you think that they are better than I do. One is Will Riley, the 19-year-old out of Illinois, a wing player. And the other one... I do not have him yet.
No, I'm saying I do.
I just said you have them in a better spot than I do.
Right, but I have them going on the same team.
Oh, do you? I didn't realize. No, you have Fleming going to Utah.
Yes, and I have Riley going to Brooklyn.
Okay, well, I didn't get to Riley yet. I was just talking about Fleming. Okay, so I have... Okay, so you have Riley... No, you have Riley going to Atlanta... Oh, going to Brooklyn in the trade. Right. Okay, so I have Fleming and Riley going here. Fleming is 20 out of St. Joe's. I think he plays. I'm not sure if Riley plays, but I think Fleming plays. Okay, the Boston Celtics, who are praying for Walter Clayton Jr. to be here. And he will not. No chance. Now... They have traded
praying.
What's that?
They have Pritchard. I don't think they're praying.
The
personality.
I think they are. Okay, so the one thing that this team needs more than anything else is size. My God, without trading KP yesterday, and they go for one of the biggest players in the draft. 7'0" from Stanford, Maxime Renault. 22. He's defensively sound. He can shoot a little bit, pick and pop. He's the 22nd pick in the draft. 28th pick in the draft, excuse me.
I actually have him better as well. I actually have him going with an older guy as well. Similar to Radov. Because they're not a team that needs rookies. That needs 18-year-old players. I have them going Ryan Kalbrenner from.
Okay, well, that is surprising, considering for the Phoenix Suns with the 29th pick, I have Ryan Kalbrenner going to Phoenix because they need size too, and so why not? I mean, this is from Cleveland via Utah. This is a whole lot of trades that made no sense. So
there you go.
Go ahead. Who do you have for the Suns?
I have him taking Nick Clifford from Colorado State.
So you have him taking another wing player.
Why not? I have
because why not?
Wait, I have
No, my point is they already have 5.
Oh.
After this trade, they're the only team with 5 wing players, and now they're going to have 6.
Well, I have them at 3.
I have them at 3. I haven't played.
Okay. Positionless basketball sponsored by the Phoenix Suns. Nobody over 6'8", nobody under 6'5". Positionless basketball. Okay. With the final pick, this is the LA Clippers from Oklahoma City. This is the swap. Yeah, this is the Paul George swap. 22 for 30. Not 22. Hold on. Where was it? Oh, I can't find it. It's somebody via somebody. Oh, there it is. 24 for 30. I have been taking Noah Penda.
And I have going for size. I have Maxime Renaud.
Okay. Now, we have to pick 31 through 35. 31 through 34. Because if you don't, then you may not get your points on the 30th pick. So, with the 31st pick, you and I talked about this earlier, Minnesota needs a point guard. Because you have them picking Demon earlier, and I'm going to have them taking a Kentucky point guard, since Kentucky's not going to be in the first round this year. For the first time in 15 years, they will not be in the first round. But just to screw over Kentucky fans, they will be the first pick in the second round. Tyrese Proctor.
Well, with them going,
With them going.
guard at 17. No great need to go there here. It's best player available. You have big guys. Go for a guy who may be able to help a little bit more than just a freshman, than just the guy who's 18. I should say.
Sure.
I'm going to go with a Duke hero. Arkansas. Excuse me.
Who are you going with?
A Duke hero from Arkansas.
Okay. As we like to make mistakes on this podcast and then we go back and rectify them, I'm going to rectify this right now. Tyrese Proctor went to Duke. He did not go to Kentucky. So Kentucky once again.
I was wondering who you were talking about.
Tyrese Proctor from Duke. Again, Kentucky fans, sorry but not sorry. Okay. The Celtics pick up a early second round pick in the trade this week via Washington. That must be the KP deal? I don't even know which deal. It's got to be the KP. Or maybe it's last year's KP deal. So they have a second round pick, number 32 overall. And I have them picking Drake Powell, the wing player out of North Carolina State. They need to make up somewhere for some scoring, and that's where they're going to go do it.
Actually, sorry, I had not prepared. The last next four picks. But I kind of like that, to be honest. I'm going to go Drake Powell as well.
Okay, we have two Charlotte back-to-back picks.
Okay, so we're Charlotte needs. Well, we have a 1. We have a 3. Kind of have a 2. I mean, Caduple kind of hits both of those, so I think we got to go big guys here. I think we go big guy and we go back up point and won't get hurt.
I got both of those squared away.
So I'm going to go with Cam Jones from Marquette. Who do I want as a big guy at this point? Big guy. I'm going to go with Hansen Yang from China.
You just wanted to pick a Chinese.
7'2", 250 pounds.
All right.
250 pounds.
Which is this? So he's the biggest guy in the. No. Amari Williams is actually 262 out of Kentucky. He is not my pick.
Are you sure it's not?
My pick at 33.
Are you sure it's not Duke?
No, this is Kentucky. My pick out of for 33 to Charlotte is Yannick Conan Niederhauser, the 6'11" center out of Penn State, and that takes care of my big guy problem, right? Big guy. And then my smaller guy is not really that small, 6'6", 200 pounds. You could stash him away, Ben Saraf, who played in Germany. You can stash him if you want, but 6'6", 200 combo guard. You can never have too many combo guards, especially when they pick Knuble first.
But as you said earlier,
you're Charlotte.
Right.
Why is Charlotte flashing anybody?
That's a good point. So anyway, so this has been our draft, right? Chances are we'll get about 60 to 70 points because that's what we normally do. If we're lucky. I hope to get at least all the... There will always be one guy that we miss. Always. A guy that's picked in the first round that is nowhere on our draft board. There will always be that guy. The one consolation I have this year is it won't be a Nick that does it. So, in all likelihood, as we don't have a pick, it will not be Frederick Weiss.
Are you sure?
Okay.
Are you
The
sure?
Mets are not in first. Yeah, it will not be Frederick Weiss. The Mets are not in first place. I already said that. I said that at the beginning of the show. I have 5 days to get back into first place by the end of the month. We're a game and a half behind, so I need a little bit of some magic. And they play the Braves tonight. Not helpful. Yeah, that's it. Look, next week we'll go through how the draft was. We'll also touch upon good luck to my Islanders who have the first pick in the NHL draft on Friday. How many NHL players do you know that are playing in this draft? Do you even know who the first pick would be?
Nope.
Okay. So anyway, I will run through how the Islanders did in the draft and how the Devils did. Next week, we'll go through some of the trades that happened today because obviously there were trades that happened probably even while we were on.
Wait, are they taking Mike Lisa or Matthew Schaefer?
Wow, look at you! You just looked that up, didn't you? If they take anybody but Matthew Schaefer, I will have a conniption. I seriously will have a conniption. You do not turn. The last time we turned down a defenseman for a forward with the first pick in the draft, Pajama Boy took his talents to Toronto. So no, I want my defenseman, damn it. Anyway, so we'll go through the trades, and guess what happens? Back to back to back to back to back, everything in the NBA. Next week we'll be starting with free agency. I mean, holy smokes. But we should touch upon Tyrese Halliburton and the effects that will have on Indiana and the overall Achilles tendon injuries that are occurring. If you haven't checked out Jay Williams, the former Duke player, who has a good commentary on why Achilles tendon injuries are occurring, I suggest you check that out. Other than that, I love this pod. I really do every year, even though we suck and suck worse. But I do enjoy doing it. And as my last thing before I go, to Jake and to Teo, if you are listening, have a wonderful summer at camp. We will miss you. And have a great time. Camp is the greatest experience you will have.
I can't really echo anything better than that.
All right, bud. All right, for Seth Kamens, who's over there, I'm Sean Palmer over here. We'll talk to you guys next week. Have a good one, everybody.